Morning, this is Erica with Launching Legacies. Welcome to our daily devotional. I want to give a shout out. Today is December 4th. It is Launching Legacies' birthday. So happy birthday, Launching Legacies. If you want to know, Launching Legacies is 2 years old. And so we're very proud of our organization and who we've served over the past 2 years. We've served more than 90 individuals and in counseling, in life coaching, in family education, family restoration services. And so we're proud to be 2 years old and to have done these things. But today, although I would love to talk about Launching Legacies and where we've come over the past 2 years, I have something more pressing to talk about, and that is entropy. So, many of you may be thinking, entropy, never heard of it. Or maybe some of you have, like, entropy, interesting. Why should we be talking about entropy? Well, so entropy is the system or the theory that helps us to explain how things get to chaos or disorder. And it basically says that the world tends towards entropy. It tends towards destruction, disorganization, chaos. It tends towards just leaving the bounds and going into these crazy places that are not structured, that are not filtered, that are not in line. And we're talking about entropy today because I want us to kind of get our minds wrapped around it. The rest of the devotional series will definitely incorporate scripture, but this really just incorporates this theory of entropy because it's very important that we understand the concept of disorganization before we start to try to get organized or think about what creates organization. You have to first realize that disorganization is a natural process. So what does that mean? That if I have a junk drawer, for example, let's say I just have an empty drawer, okay, in my kitchen. And most kitchens have these, or houses have these somewhere in their house, right? And they have this drawer, and it doesn't start off as the junk drawer for most people. It starts off as just a drawer that doesn't have any really designated purpose or has many designated purposes. And if I let time pass, that drawer will eventually become the junk drawer. It'll be filled with all of these different things that kind of go together, but then kind of don't go together. And so if no one organizes, if a force doesn't act upon that drawer, right, causing organization or structure upon that drawer, then it will just go more chaotically in the direction of disorganization. And it becomes this crazy, messy junk drawer. And that's how entropy works. It says that if nothing operates against this system, this world system, then everything becomes more chaotic, more disorganized, more well, I guess some might say free, but free in a way that's not necessarily helpful or beneficial. And so we have to remember that. And so things just become more. So another good example, and one that we're kind of hone into, is when we apply entropy to our mindset or to our behavior or to relationships, because entropy is always actually acting on those things, right? So if we don't intervene, if we don't decide to work on our relationships, for example, if we don't do the work of that relationship and we just let the relationship be, over time, the relationship has a lot of misunderstandings, has a lot of shortcomings. People don't get each other. There's a lot of disagreements. Things begin to kind of fall apart because a relationship requires the force of work to make it last, right? So similarly, our mindset, even if we have learned things and we've put things in our file cabinets of our mind, even if we've done that, if those thoughts are left untended, if we just leave them without implying focus, right? Or if we leave them without applying reason, if we leave them without learning new information, which requires us to order and organize thoughts, then our mind in itself will tend towards entropy and become a chaotic mess, right? Our thoughts will disorganize in a way. And actually, time itself creates is what actually spurns on this entropic tendency towards disorganization. And so what does that mean? It's going towards, as time progresses, things become more and more progressively chaotic unless something acts on it, which kind of stops the time. So then it goes back towards disorganization again. A cavity in your mouth, right? The same thing. People can get cavities unless they act upon the bacteria that's trying to settle on the tooth. The tooth will just eat away, decay the entire mouth system. Is how people end up with no teeth, right? So all these things, all these systems in the world, even in biologically and mentally, and even in relationship, tend towards this direction of chaos and disorganization. But what does that mean for you and me? Well, it means that we need to know what force is going to act against the entropy that's in our life, right? We need to figure out what is going to be the thing that prevents this chaos from spreading and becoming a bigger issue. Because when we leave things unchecked, that's what happens. And it's a natural law. It's a part of science, sure, but it's obviously demonstrated when we look around the world. We see things left untended become chaotic, disorganized, and a hot mess. So that's our food for thought for right now. No scripture reference for today, but just think about what in your life has been left untended and has become chaotic, disorganized, or is going in that direction. And whether or not you want to stop that from happening is dependent upon you, right? Something has to act on it. And if you are not going to decide what's going to act on it, then maybe you're okay with it going towards disorganization. Something to consider. Well, we're praying for you. We're always praying for you. We hope that you're praying for Launching Legacies. We will see you again tomorrow with the continuation of this devotional series. But until then, please meditate on the idea or this understanding of what entropy really is as a scientific construct, but in the whole world system, how does it operate? And specifically, narrowing it down, how does it impact you and how does it impact me? Because we need to understand what things in our life have been left to entropy. Okay. I'll see you tomorrow for another devotional. Until then, be blessed.